All right, so we're going to talk about driving pressure. So driving pressure, I think, is somewhat overcomplicated. And the goal of this lecture here is to simplify it and teach you guys how to really use it on a day-to-day basis clinically. And to do this, I think we have to get back to that idea of what are you really trying to do with driving pressure, plateau pressure, so on and so forth, which essentially answer the question is, how much volume do you have to give a patient to safely ventilate them? And what your goal is essentially what is the tidal volume that is appropriate for the size of the patient's lungs in front of you, right? Because what you don't want to do is give them a volume that's too big for the lungs, leads to more damage, ARDS, so on and so forth. So this is typically what you're told, right? 6 cc's per kg. How many of you guys do that? Around, right? How many of you guys actually do it? How many of you guys carry around? So it's kind of like the ARDS robot, right? You put it in, calculates what's the appropriate measure, right? But technically, you need one of these, right? And you need to measure their height and get their ideal body weight. How many people really do that? One or two, right? So most of us do something like this, right? We guesstimate. We kind of look at the patient. If they're small, we say about 350. If they're medium, 420. And if they're big, 500, right? And I'm going to tell you, they're probably both equivalent. When you look at data on 6 cc's predicting the actual lung volumes, it's really bad. It doesn't work very well. And that's because lung volumes aren't purely based on the anatomical size of the patient, right? It's based on the disease that they have as well, right? So as people get sicker, the lung volumes that are participating in ventilation get smaller and smaller. So guesstimation is probably just as good as measuring with a tape measure. The trick is you have to check your work afterwards. And what typically we're taught to check our work is the plateau pressure, right? And it's a fairly simple maneuver, which essentially what we're going to do is conduct inspiratory pause. And so at end inspiration, vent pauses and gives you a static pressure, right? And when you ask someone, what is the plateau pressure? What you usually get back, it's the static compliance in the lung, right? You guys have all heard that. And that's mostly complicated, hard to understand, and it's really hard to know what that actually means. What you're really asking when someone asks what a plateau pressure is the volume of gas I'm giving appropriate for the size of the lung that the patient has? That's what you really want to know, right? And generally, we think of plateau pressures less than 30 means the volume of gas you're giving is appropriate for the patient's lung size. I'm going to tell you driving pressure is probably a little bit more accurate of a surrogate for the same question. We're going to talk about why. So you're essentially doing the same maneuver. You're measuring a plateau pressure. And then what you do is you essentially subtract the PEEP from your plateau pressure. This gives you your driving pressure. And generally, we think of driving pressures less than 15 answering that same question. Is this volume of gas appropriate for the size of the patient's lung? Right? So this is the only math we're going to do, I promise. This is like your formula for actual static compliance, right? It's essentially the tidal volume over the driving pressure, right? And so the amount of change in pressure you need to get any volume dictates what your static compliance is. So if we just change this and solve this for driving pressure, what you see, the driving pressure is determined by the volume of gas and the static compliance of the patient's lung. So this will be our symbol for the volume of gas we're putting into our patient, right? And when we think about static compliance, we normally think of it as stiff lung, but I don't want you to think about it as stiff lung. I want you to think about it as the size of the lung. So the worse the compliance of someone's lung is typically because their lung is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Whatever disease state they have is causing more lung to collapse and de-recruit, and the lung that's participating in ventilation is smaller and smaller and smaller. So when we talk about compliance, what we're really talking about is lung size. So if we look at it like this, for any given lung, if we have a static lung, for any given lung size, as I increase volume, I'll increase the driving pressure. If I decrease volume, I'll decrease the driving pressure, right? And the contrary is true as well. If I have a static volume, if I have a larger lung, my driving pressure goes down. If I have a smaller lung, my driving pressure goes up, right? So understanding that relationship allows you to do a number of things. One, that tells you a lot about what's happening in your patient's lungs, and then it tells you how to adjust both the tidal volume and the PEEP, which we're going to get into in a sec.
Sorry to butt in here, but if you're enjoying this video, then I know you're going to enjoy the 4 free videos that we have for you. in the link below. You're going to get 4 videos from the conference ResusX last year, 2025, that was filmed live in Philly. We have topics on airway, ECMO, ECGs. It's something you definitely want to check out. So go to the link below, click, download it. No questions asked. It's all yours. And back to the video.
So this is the Amato study. This was published in 2015, really highlighting the powers of driving pressure. And essentially what they did is they took all the ARDS studies and combined them and looked at how well driving pressure, plateau pressure predicted mortality. And if you look at it, when you look at patients and you see an increase in both driving pressure and plateau pressure, you see an increase in mortality. So both of them in some ways predict worse outcomes. But when you control it and you look for patients with increasing plateaus, though you remain consistent in your driving pressure, the driving pressure doesn't change, there's no difference in mortality. And yet, if you look at patients who have static plateau pressures and decreasing driving pressures, you see a decrease in mortality. Meaning driving pressure is probably a better predictor of how sick the lungs are and probably a better surrogate for the question we just asked. Is the volume of gas you're giving appropriate for the size of the lung that the patient has? Okay, so let's talk about how you actually use this clinically. So imagine you have a patient, 56, multifocal pneumonia, 250 pounds, failed non-invasive and was intubated. There's your x-ray. It's not great, right? And so you put him on the ventilator. There's your ABG and your PDAF ratio. This guy's an ARDS, right? So here are your vent settings: tidal volume 420, respiratory rate 24, PEEP of 5, and FiO2 of 100%. That's a CT of his lungs. And you can already see the actual aerated lung volumes are tiny, right? And so the amount of lung that's participating in ventilation is pretty small. And so when you measure a plateau pressure, it's 35, and you have a PEEP of 5, gives you a driving pressure of 30. So what should you do? So you can decrease the volume, right? That's the first thing you can do. Decrease the volume, because what we're saying here is the actual volume that this patient had is way smaller than the tidal volume I'm giving. But what you can try to do with that is add PEEP and actually increase the volume of the patient's lungs, right? So I go from a PEEP of 5 to a PEEP of 10. I increase aerated lung. My plateau stays at 35 and my driving pressure drops to 25. Now what do I do? So the PEEP table, a PEEP table is kind of the idiot's version of this, right? It's this idea that basically if my FiO2 to saturation ratio or P to F ratio, the worse my P to F ratio is, the more oxygen I need to get an appropriate saturation or PaO2, the more lung is derecruited and not participating in ventilation, the more likely it is that it will respond to PEEP. The problem is it's not guaranteed. Right. And so if you're just using pressures, you actually have a little higher ability to actually figure out if they're responding to PEEP or not. So what I would say the next step is you're only at a PEEP of 10. Let's try again. So we go up to a PEEP of 15. Our driving pressure stays at 35. My plateau pressure stays at 35. My driving pressure drops to 20, and I recruited more lung. Right. As my driving pressure drops for any given tidal volume, I know that I have more lung that's participating in ventilation. So this is a really nice way to actually check if the patient is responding to the PEEP you're giving. So now what do you guys want to do? Let's do it again, right? Let's keep rolling, right? So we go to a PEEP of 20, we measure our plateau. Now it's gone up to 42. My driving pressure increases to 22. What happened? Yeah, he's probably started overdistending, right? You've recruited all the lung you can recruit, and now you're overdistending the good lung in the APCs, right? And so I probably went a little too far. So I back off again. I go back down to a PEEP of 15. My driving pressure is 20. What does that mean? It means I've recruited as long as I can, but that tidal volume is probably still too high for the patient, for the amount of lung this patient has. So now I decrease that tidal volume, right, and drop my driving pressure below 15. So in summary, what we're going to do when we use driving pressure is, first thing is we're going to pick a tidal volume, right? And you can do that using your ARDS robot and measuring with a tape, or you can just guesstimate, right? But the important part to understand is after that, I have to check my work. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure my plateau pressure and just do the simplest of math, plateau minus PEEP, and get our driving pressure. If my driving pressure is less than 15, I'm probably okay. The volume of gas I'm giving is probably appropriate for the size of lungs this patient has. But if my driving pressure is greater than 15, I'm going to do some things. So this means that my tidal volume is too big, and I have a couple choices. I can increase my PEEP, increasing the size of the patient's lungs, improving my driving pressure, and/or I can decrease my tidal. Either way, we're getting the patient back to a safe point of ventilation. That's it. Thanks, guys.